We've just completed a comprehensive interpretation of Peter Attia's Outlive, providing you with a deeper understanding of longevity. We explored the 4 horsemen of death that shape human lifespans: metabolic dysfunction, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and neurodegenerative diseases. Additionally, we delved into 5 strategies to counteract these challenges: exercise, nutrition, sleep, emotions, and medication. In this journey, we've encountered not just science, but also the grit of life. This isn't about mere health regimen, or the illusion that popping supplements, engaging in elderly university programs, or using certain insoles will extend your life. If you aspire to longevity, especially a healthy elderly life, you must start making challenging choices, and possibly go against your instincts. This could involve significant lifestyle changes. Attia believes that these knowledge and methods can extend a person's healthy lifespan by 10 years, and I think it's very hopeful to achieve. However, the more I understand about longevity, the more I have a realization. Longevity is a project with limited prospects. Let's begin with some data. This graph illustrates the changes in life expectancy for major wealthy nations from 1980 to 2021. These nations include Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, the Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, the UK, and the US. These countries boast the best living and medical conditions globally, serving as humanity's role models. We observe that, over those 40 years, the general trend for wealthy countries outside the US is an increase in life expectancy by approximately 8 years. From 74 to 82. In the vast evolutionary history of humanity, this is a remarkable achievement, reflecting progress in living standards and technology. This is why I believe another 10 years of extension is possible. However, focus on the most noticeable line in the graph. The US data. In 1980, the US was comparable to other wealthy countries, with life expectancy around 74. Subsequently, the US fell behind, with a noticeable lag in life expectancy growth compared to other nations. Moreover, it peaked at 79 and then started declining, ranking at the bottom. The US is the global center for medical technology, and its per capita healthcare expenditure far exceeds other countries. How is it possible for the average lifespan of Americans to lag? Is it due to the absence of universal free healthcare, or is it because the US healthcare industry is excessively greedy? While the issues with US healthcare are significant, fairness dictates that the low life expectancy is not primarily due to healthcare problems. Once Americans reach 65, they are eligible for government-provided healthcare, Medicare, eliminating concerns about seniors being unable to afford medical treatment. Extensive research and data analysis indicate that the main reason for the lower life expectancy in the US is the existence of many extreme populations. Americans have the highest smoking-related death rate among wealthy nations. The obesity-related mortality rate is at least 20 percentage points higher than other wealthy nations. The number of homicides per 100,000 people in the US is 3 to 6 times higher than in other wealthy nations. The death rate from opioid drug overdose in the US far exceeds that of other wealthy nations. The suicide rate, death rate from accidents, and infant mortality due to poverty all rank high in the US. Particularly, the significant wealth gap in the US leads to a much larger difference in life expectancy between the poor and the rich compared to other developed countries. I want to emphasize the issue of deaths caused by opioid drug overdose. These are easily addictive drugs, and once addicted, individuals often increase their dosage until serious problems arise. Attia also mentions in the book that the number of deaths in the US due to drug abuse is now equivalent to the number of deaths from diabetes. He believes that the US longevity crisis is largely a crisis of drug abuse. As we discussed earlier, behind the crisis of drug abuse lies a crisis of mental health. Many Americans, especially the impoverished, lead extremely difficult lives. Poverty implies highly unstable living conditions, single parenthood, emotional crises, and even violence. According to Attia, a common manifestation of emotional distress is no longer valuing one's own life. If you can't experience the joy of life, why cherish it? Other wealthy countries, either with smaller populations or primarily composed of a single ethnic group, with a more unified culture, face fewer extreme populations. The complexity of the U.S., being a multi-ethnic nation where people live vastly different lives, exacerbates these extremes. For example, even in poverty, the life expectancy of Asian Americans is relatively high, because their culture tends to avoid extreme risks, and at the very least, they have family support. In my view, the comparison of longevity data between the US and other wealthy nations tells us a fundamental truth. Falling behind is because you have issues, not because others are working harder. If it weren't for smoking, obesity, drug addiction, accidents, homicides, and various extreme issues due to poverty, people could enjoy a normal lifespan. The role of high-tech in the US is not significant here. The key to the longevity problem is in not messing up certain things, rather than excelling in one particular aspect. Let's revisit Attia's Longevity Action Guide. Most of it revolves around not harming your body, rather than focusing on how to enhance it. Avoid excessive carbohydrate intake, refrain from consuming fructose, don't sit idle all day, ensure sufficient sleep, and steer clear of negative emotions. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, adhering to these don'ts is challenging, but for a hunter-gatherer in primitive society, this was their normal life. Regarding Attia's various doses, which go beyond the routine of a hunter-gatherer, such as deliberately exercising muscles, ensuring an adequate protein intake, taking statins to lower cholesterol, constantly measuring the glycemic impact of each food, actively exercising the brain to learn new things, etc. These methods indeed add a bit to your health. Only to a limited extent. Let's take exercise as an example. Exercise is the most effective way to improve your body, more effective than medications. Yet, you might wonder if those fitness enthusiasts live much longer than the average person. They don't. A 2020 study compared all German Olympic athletes who participated from 1956 to 2016, totaling 6,066 athletes, with the general population of Germany. The findings revealed that the athletes had a lower survival rate compared to the general population. However, this result might not be universally applicable, as in other countries, elite athletes generally have a higher survival rate than the average person. Researchers attribute this to Germany being an affluent country where the life expectancy of ordinary citizens is already high, and athletes don't necessarily enjoy high socioeconomic status. In a 2018 study comparing Finnish athletes to their non-athlete brothers, it was found that the median age of death for endurance, mixed, and strength sports athletes was 79.9 years, 75.9 years, and 72.2 years, respectively. In contrast, the median age of death for their brothers of the same age was 77.5 years, 73.7 years, and 72.2 years, respectively. It appears that endurance sports provide the most significant benefit for longevity, extending it by only 2 years. These studies tell us that, compared to generally affluent living conditions, the level of exercise performed by athletes doesn't offer significant benefits and might even have drawbacks if taken to extreme levels. Therefore, exercise is a diminishing returns and potentially overdone project. That's why we say to leverage exercise, achieve 80% of the benefits with 20% effort. Exercise can prevent diseases and help you age gracefully, but it won't make you immortal. Exercise, diet, sleep, emotions, including the current and future drugs that Silicon Valley is hyping up. All these so-called longevity measures can only give you a normal body, not make you immortal. In essence, the secret to longevity is mainly not messing up. There are elements of self-destruction in modern life, so avoiding self-destruction is not easy. But it prevents early death and may not extend life significantly. So, longevity is a project with a low ceiling. You don't need to put in much effort to reach a decent level. Then it becomes challenging to further improve. Your efforts can make you not bad, but not exceptionally well. I think the most significant difference between our world and, for example, the gaming world or the world of cultivation novels is this. Human physical attributes have very low upper limits. There is no magical potion that can increase your speed by +15 or agility by +10. Performance-enhancing drugs used by athletes, including high-tech running shoes, only have minimal effects. Efforts to exercise, pay attention to diet and sleep can probably lead to a lifespan of over 90. Yet, those who don't exercise, don't care about diet and sleep, can still live to be 70 or 80. Of course, the former will live better in old age than the latter, but that's about it. So, don't aim to be a health expert. That's a character without a future. If the most outstanding figure in an industry earns just over 9,000 yuan a month, while the ordinary practitioner can also get 7 to 8,000, what's the point of that industry? Lifespan, like human height, follows a normal distribution in statistics. Meaning that most people are concentrated in the middle, with only a few exceptionally bad or good. The results of such projects are largely determined by luck, and individual efforts have minimal impact. In contrast, projects like making money, academic achievements, fame follow a power law distribution, with a long tail. Meaning that top individuals can get returns far beyond the average, and you have almost unlimited upward potential, and your efforts are highly efficient. If you want to make a difference, choose high-ceiling projects. For low-ceiling projects, the scientific strategy is to meet the standards. Strive to do right in everything, especially avoid unnecessary mistakes. Doing a bit better than the average is sufficient. Excessive investment has little meaning. Focus your limited time and energy on high-ceiling projects. Entrepreneurs, scholars, artists, scientists. These are high-ceiling professions where your efforts can yield substantial returns. Then, when you look up, you find people much higher than you. Professional sports is a fascinating industry. On one hand, there's an upper limit to the improvement of an athlete's skills. For example, making a 0.1 second improvement in a 100-meter sprint is extremely difficult. But, on the other hand, due to media and commercial amplification, professional sports is a winner-takes-all industry. If you genuinely reach the ranks of top-notch players, investing massive training to improve that 0.1 second is worthwhile. Sadly, most jobs have low upper limits. Every high school teacher, upon retirement, receives praise like the fruits of their labor are spread throughout the world. However, considering teaching one class every 3 years with 60 students per class, and a teacher working for 3 to 4 decades, they would influence only 600 to 700 students. How many people can your efforts really change? To break through the limits, you probably need to leverage something. For example, in the internet age, we have teachers like Li Yongle who turned lectures into video programs accessible to everyone. Many people can benefit from it, and the sense of achievement is probably quite different. If you're deeply stuck in low-ceiling projects, where the only goal is to do right, you'll encounter various dilemmas. However, if you make a mark in a high-ceiling project, the initial problems won't be able to stop you.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.